man, here we are again trying to decipher exactly what Odafe Oweh is saying, exactly what he's talking about with his most recent tweets, because we started this off, we thought we had it all figured out, and it still could happen, but now with his most recent tweet, it kind of threw me for a loop. Team, keep it clean. We're going to get into it right away. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and leave a like on the video because it helps out a lot. And also, you want to stay up to date with everything going down with the Baltimore Ravens, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Now, Odafe Oweh, last night as of this recording, at 9:30 p.m., he tweeted out the peace sign. So I know a lot of people were like, oh, Odafe Oweh about to get traded for Micah Parsons. Odafe Oweh about to get on up out of here. Well, see you, Odafe Oweh. Thanks for everything. But then I was looking at it in a different way because I was thinking, hold up. Tyreek Hill at the end of last season, he said he was disgruntled and whatnot. He said he was upset. He said he wasn't happy with the Dolphins. He wasn't used to losing. And even though a little after that, he did sort of apologize for it and reconcile with the team and whatnot, I did say a Dolphins reporter say, don't put it past the Dolphins to still trade Tyreek Hill. So I thought about that and I was like, the peace sign, like, that could possibly mean that the Baltimore Ravens are acquiring Tyreek Hill. And I have seen some rumors from a couple of different people saying that that is a real possibility. So we'll see what happens. I ain't getting my hopes up with it, but we'll see. But then Odafe Oweh, in the middle of the night, that peace sign was at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, by the way. But then in the middle of the night, while I was sleeping at 2:16 a.m., Odafe Oweh said, you know what, let me get on Twitter and mess with these people one more time. And he said the following. He said, man, I hope not, but God's plan always wins. So, still, like, who knows what he's talking about? But this got me to thinking again. Initially, I was like, all right, could that mean that Odafe Oweh is being traded away? It could. It could mean that he could be saying peace, like deuces to all the Ravens fans. Thank you, the Ravens flock and whatnot, for everything. But I'm out. And he's, hopefully not. That's what it seems like he's saying. But, hey, God's plan always wins. So he could be saying that. But then I thought, hold up. What if somebody else is getting traded? What if he's referring to somebody else that's involved in a trade package and somebody who he would not be a fan of them being on the move? I thought about a guy like maybe David Jarvo, who's obviously a super close friend of Odafe Oweh, to where they are pretty much like brothers. They went to the same school together in high school. They grew up together. They've known each other for a very long time. Could he possibly be on the move and Odafe Oweh is upset about it? It's a possibility. It's like with these vague, cryptic tweets, since they are extremely vague, there's no detail in them whatsoever. We just got to think. We got to wonder, like, what it could mean. But I'm more so leaning towards maybe Odafe Oweh has seen or heard, or the Ravens just straight up told him, like, hey, we've been talking to some teams about potentially trading you. We've been talking to some teams about moving you in order to acquire X, Y, and Z. Or maybe they just told him, like, look, we are thinking about trading you. It's nothing official yet. Well, obviously it ain't official yet because we ain't heard nothing, but they could have told him it's nothing official yet, but you could potentially be on the move. So maybe Odafe Oweh initially heard that and was like, oh, you know what, deuces, I'm out. I see y'all. Catch y'all on the flip side. And then he thought about it for a while and he was like, you know what, I hope not, with that second tweet, but God's plan always wins. So with Odafe Oweh, it's just, we don't know. We just really, really don't know. But I'm sure soon enough we'll end up finding out. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. First questions came from my guy, Jarvo. He said the following. He said, I know everyone wants Parsons, but I'd rather Max Crosby because he does much more in the rush and pass game. Yeah, Max, look, you can't go wrong with either one. Like, straight up. Neither one is a bad option at all. But yeah, Max Crosby, he is extremely disruptive, period. Like, not just as a pass rusher, but in run defense. We saw it firsthand. Like, with Micah Parsons, we pretty much, we didn't whoop the Cowboys. We started to whoop the Cowboys, but then the Ravens started chilling and relaxing, and the Cowboys started coming back. But anyway, with that game, Derrick Henry, he was running crazy. Micah Parsons was nowhere to be found. In the Raiders game, Derrick Henry was not running crazy, and Max Crosby was everywhere to be found. That man stuffed Derrick Henry nasty in the backfield. He's just a baller, though. He's a straight-up baller. Again, I wouldn't be mad at either one, though. either one, because the Baltimore Ravens' biggest area of concern on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion, right, is the inconsistent pass rush. But anyway, he said, and he's also never hurt. You said Max Crosby is never hurt. He's hurt right now. He got hurt at the end of the season. He's recovering from an injury right now. But anyway, he said, and you can't go wrong with either one. Boom. I agree with that. He said, at the receiver position, if we can't get DK Metcalf, and apparently they're saying he talking to the Packers right now, or the Seahawks talking to the Packers. We'll see. He said, if we can't get DK Metcalf, I'll talk to Devontae Adams again because he'll be a good fit as well. Wouldn't be mad at that, especially if he was a free agent. For a trade, Devontae Adams, yeah, he could still play. And he would be sort of that, not a deep threat. Jump ball receiver, kind of, but not like, he would fit. He could help, obviously. He could. Anyway, he said, like I said before, let's steal the Eagles' blueprint and build the bullies on the O-line and D-line. Oh, yeah, I agree. I love that because that will make everybody's lives a lot easier and tougher for our opponents. He said, build the O-line so Lamar Jackson can actually chill in the pocket without running around. Yes, that is a very underrated move for this offseason. It's never underrated to build an offensive line, but to actually build an offensive line where Lamar can chill back there, we would love it because, as y'all know, as y'all have seen, if Lamar's back there chilling with the like y'all know it, like you've seen it plenty of times, and I'm sure you've seen the tweet where somebody's like, "Oh, if Lamar is sitting in the pocket like this, you already know what's getting ready to happen next." And it's always strikes, man. Oh, I mean, Lamar, even without the best offensive line in the world, I mean, we saw that last year, 41-4. That's crazy. But if he had a great offense, it'd be nasty. He said, but build O-line so Lamar can actually chill in the pocket without running around, in a line who can make holes for the king to run through. Bullies on the defensive line so we don't have to blitz and our rushers can eat. Heard Jonathan Allen might be on the block. He said, I would rather trade our picks than our players. Only players I'll trade off is Jarvo, Jalen Alma-Davis, Marcus Williams, and sign and trade Brandon Stevens. Wow. So those are all players that don't have big-time value on the trade block. You could incorporate them in a trade, but they would not move anything for another team because none of them are starters. All of them potential. Marcus Williams was a starter, but none of these guys Stevens was a starter. They wouldn't. I don't think they would sign and trade him, but you never know. But David Ajabo, we still waiting on him. Jalen Alma-Davis, we still waiting on him. Marcus Williams, they getting ready to cut him any day now, or they could trade him too. But no, I don't think none of those guys really move anything for other teams. For if the Ravens were to trade him. He also said, I watched the NFL Live and they were discussing something that the Ravens need to do to get over the hump, and I want to know if you agree or disagree and why. He said, number one, playmakers in the secondary. Yes, I agree because our secondary was nice. Our secondary was locked down. But to just get more playmakers and to just get more playmaking on the defense as a whole would be great. Forcing more turnovers, especially in the postseason. Again, that's not why the Baltimore Ravens have been losing in the postseason, but it could certainly help go a long way if they could start doing that. He said, number two, a vertical threat to complement Zay and Bate. We've been saying that for a long time. So, yeah, I'm with that all day. I agree 1,010% with that one. He said, number three, re-sign Ronnie Stanley. That is something that's expected for them to do, but that will give them consistency along the offensive line. My only hold up with that, the only thing I'll be worried about, how healthy will he be? Because he has a history, and history, like he's been on the wrong side of history a lot more than on the right side of history when it's come to injuries, but hopefully the injuries will be behind him. That will be my only concern with re-signing Ronnie Stanley. The only one. We know he can play. We know he can steal ball. That would be my only concern. But anyway, he said number four, better execution and focus. I mean, I feel like that's a given. That's certainly a given, especially playoff times. Like, you can't be turning the ball over. Turnovers will kill you. And the crazy thing with the Ravens that's so frustrating, we always talk about it, man. With the Ravens in the playoffs, they'll turn the ball over. They'll lose these games by one score. And they'll have like 2-3 turnovers in these games. They'll lose them by one score. This is like, man, if you would have just held on to the ball, you would have cut down them turnovers. Even if you turn the ball over once and you take out them other couple turnovers, you're winning, man. You control that game. So Ravens they gotta get rid of that. He also said another wide receiver who nobody talks about is Keenan Allen. Well, Bleacher Report actually talked about him. And anyway, he said, who is also a big receiver with great hands in a route tree. I have mixed emotions about Brandon Stevens. Oh, well, first about Keenan Allen. Yeah, he got good hands and he can run some routes. And he's actually been healthier recently. I know before he had some injury concerns, but last year he only missed one game. and he put up like I think like 700 yards, I think like 6 touchdowns, he wouldn't be coming to the Ravens to be a starter. No, he'd be their third receiver. And Keenan Allen as a third receiver for the Ravens, I think that would actually be pretty solid. So I wouldn't be mad at that. He said, I got mixed emotions about Brandon Stephens, and rather I want him back or not. He had a not so great but decent year with us, but he played phenomenal last season. Oh, you mean the season before last? He said his only issue is that he don't turn his head around, and I think that can be fixed. That's the scary part about that, though. We know that can get fixed, but it ain't get fixed all year. They left him out there. They continually, but Ravens probably felt the same way you did, but it never got fixed the entire season. Never got fixed, and that's scary, man. He said, we've seen him run the best receivers and was right there. I wouldn't mind him back because if they can teach him the little things, he can be a top corner in the league. I agree, but where was the disconnect? What happened? Was Denard Wilson like really a coach like that? He must have been. So shout out to him. But Brandon Stephens just this last season was really bad, man. He said he shouldn't be a priority signing for us, but if we can't get someone like a Jair Alexander or another playmaker corner, I say bring Stephens back. I got to check to see if this is John Harbaugh's burner email. Next question came from my guy, Melo. He said, good morning, team. Keep it clean and hope everything is going well for everyone. Appreciate that, Melo. He said, I know the story of backup quarterback has been an underlying topic that maybe doesn't get all the attention with more important needs, but I think our next backup QB is in our backyard. And by backyard, I mean Pittsburgh. And specifically, I mean Justin Fields. Seeing what Pittsburgh did with bringing him in on certain packages makes me feel that Todd Monken could draw up a really confusing package for us on short yard downs. Since Andrews won't be there. He said, since Andrews won't be there for the tush push. That, I ain't think about that. That's a really, really good point. If Andrews is gone, then that player's going to Charlie Cola. I did not even think about it. Wow, you're good. You're good. I didn't think about that. Good point. But anyway, he said where you have Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Fields in the backfield in a wing T type formation. You think the tush push was annoying? Just imagine what you could do with those three in the same backfield. You could do a lot. I think it would be very important for the Baltimore Ravens to just not get too cute with it, though. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when Ravens get too cute, hey, sometimes it works. But sometimes it doesn't. And I know there's a risk in every single play in football. But a lot of times you don't want to end up just beating yourself. And we see the Ravens do that a lot with some of these silly plays. Not silly, but sort of gimmicky plays. And it seems like sometimes they can almost overthink it. Now, again, a lot of times it works. But a lot of times it doesn't too. So, and a lot of times we'll look back at like, wow, why would you do that? What was that about? And hey, we've even said that on some of the plays that have worked, because sometimes they'll line up in the formation. I'll be like, what are they doing? Like, what? And then they'll execute it, and I'll be like, whoa, what was that for? And it'll work, and I'll still be like, whoa, I didn't agree with it or what they had going on, but it worked, so hey, I ain't gonna complain. But I just, if they were to bring in a Justin Fields, that would be a concern of mine. Like, I wouldn't be mad at him as a backup at all. I would just wonder, like, how gimmicky are they gonna make this thing? Cause you know, Ravens, like, when it comes to gimmicks, they be having them ready. But he said, now I know that might not be an easy accommodation due to our cap. Yeah, cause Justin Fields elsewhere, he can make a lot more money than he would make as a backup with the Baltimore Ravens, and maybe elsewhere he will get more of an opportunity too. Cause obviously Ravens got Lamar Jackson, that's their guy, that's it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. But in some other places, they may not necessarily have that guy, and they will be willing to pay Justin Fields more money to be a stay ready so you ain't got to get ready backup or a possible starter. So who knows? He said, now I know that might not be an easy accommodation due to our cap, but I know one thing: I will get rid of one of those draft picks and take Zach Wilson too as a backup if he doesn't get cut from the Broncos. What are your thoughts? Oh, Zach Wilson as a backup. Oh, and you said get rid of one of the draft picks. You mean like trade for Zach Wilson? Like, if you're going to trade like a 7th round pick for Zach Wilson to be a backup, okay. You're going to trade like a 6th round pick for Zach Wilson to be a backup, okay. A 5th rounder, I don't think you need to, but you got what? Ravens got like 11 picks this year again, I think. I know they got a lot of picks. They got a boatload of picks. So you ain't gonna keep every single. Well, are you? Because I remember a couple years ago they had 11 picks and they literally drafted every single one of those picks. But for Zach Wilson, I mean, he got experience. I like your first option better, Justin Fields. But I mean, Zach Wilson, I think he would be a better option than Josh Johnson. And Josh Johnson, great for the vibes and whatnot, great for the support, cool people. So shout out to Josh Johnson. But if you're talking about like, I don't think backup QB is going to be a concern because Lamar, he be healthy again with the 2 years before he got his contract. Keep on saying that. I just really think that was contractual injuries. I think that was, all right, Ravens, you don't want to pay me? Watch how you do without me. Watch this. But anyway, so Zach Wilson as a backup quarterback, I know that will cause a little bit of controversy amongst Ravens fans. Not saying that he should start over Lamar, but if they were to trade for him, people be like, oh, what are they doing trading for a backup? Using the draft pick on the, but it really wouldn't be a big deal, especially if it was like a 6th or 7th round draft pick. Next question came from my guy Hart Heavy. He said, I know we are past the Mark Andrews talk for now, but I just wanted to say I'm not trading Mark Andrews under no circumstances. So he's ready for Mark Andrews to stay. We'll see if the Ravens feel the same way. He said, unless we can get Tyreek Hill and Jonnu Smith back. He said, rubs hands, licks lips like Birdman. He said, what say you? Now, I wouldn't be mad at that because while Jonnu Smith he's not Mark Andrews. Jonnu Smith's still a baller. If you could trade Mark Andrews and get a really good tight end back and a Tyreek Hill, what? Yes, Miami. Yes, and we play the Dolphins next season too, by the way. And it is down here in Miami too, by the way. Anyway, I wouldn't be mad at that at all if they were to trade Mark Andrews. I don't think the Dolphins would go for that. Well, they will be getting rid of Tyreek Hill, so they'll be getting rid of a chunk of salary cap, baggage with that because he would take up a chunk of it. Jonnu Smith, I'm not sure what his contract is, but again, both of those ballers, and they could definitely help out the Ravens, and we will be right back to having 3 good tight ends. So that would be nice. And then Tyreek Hill, if you add him to a Zay, like I feel like Tyreek, even though he's shorter, I feel like his style of play complements Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman perfectly because he is a true deep threat. I know some people say, oh, Tyreek Hill's washed, Tyreek Hill's cooked. No, I don't think so. You look at who he was playing with. Look at the team that he was on and tell me if that got something to do with it. I certainly think it does. It has to, because we've seen so many times when players will go to a bad situation and then boom, what ends up happening when they get put in a better situation, they turn back into their old selves. And I think with Tyreek Hill, he just couldn't do it, man. He just couldn't with Tua, and it wasn't even with Tua a lot of times because Tua got hurt for a bunch of the season. So then Tyreek Hill had to play with what was it? Oh, Tyler Huntley. So yeah, shout out to Tyler Huntley now. But yeah, it didn't work. So I wouldn't be mad at that. Will it happen? Hey, I don't know. And by the way, he sent this before the Odafe Oweh tweets. He sent that email before all the Odafe Oweh tweets. So who knows? Maybe our guy Hard Heavy might know something.